It has now been 7 months since I set up this 5-gallon aquarium I acquired for free. If you have been keeping up with this series, thank you. But apologies, as there isn't actually any set uploading schedule for these videos, so they're kind of sporadic. If you're new here, welcome! I recommend watching the original setup video, but I'll give a quick recap up to this point. I started this with absolutely no plans. I was given a 5-gallon aquarium, and decided I wanted to try a dirted tank experiment, and I didn't want to spend any money. All the ingredients were naturally foraged from a lake just a few minutes from where I live, and were thoroughly washed and pre-soaked before using them. I used soil that was just lying around in my garage to create a small bottom layer, then topped it off with sand from the beach, and added driftwood I found at the same lake. All the plants started out from some clippings that were either floating around in my community tanks, or free goldfish chew donations from the local fish store, which have really taken off. There were no plans for how I wanted the plants either. I just placed things where I felt they naturally fit. Unfortunately, I also don't have plans for when these plants get too large for this Nano setup, but I guess that's a problem for future me. While I was feeling it was a little bare at first, I'm very pleased with how the plants are looking now. Though, as I mentioned, I don't have a plan for if and when the dwarf sage grass gets out of control, or the Amazon sword in the back gets too large. Guess I'm just gonna have to trim them more soon. There is a heater here to help keep things a little warmer than my room temps, but there is no filter in this tank. All filtration is done through small water changes every 7 to 10 days, with help from the amount of plants that are here. I did add a small bubbler as well, though the fish here don't really need that either. It was added mostly just to create some water movement and keep a film from forming on the top. For the past few months, this setup has been home to some unexpected baby honey gourami. My adult honey gourami have been spawning on and off for months in my community tank, though fry are unlikely to survive in there with the other inhabitants. I took a handful of the eggs and added them in here, since it was empty, and have watched them grow ever since. There are 7 little honey gourami that made it from the initial batch of eggs. Other attempts at adding eggs were made, but they would always get eaten either way. I would like to pause here to add that I am not any kind of fish breeder or expert at this. I am not actively trying to breed any of my fish or putting any extra effort into raising fry, just trying to provide a comfortable and healthy little ecosystem to keep my fish happy and see what happens. The smaller of the gourami are still a little too small for me to tell their gender, but I believe that I mostly have females here. As mentioned in the last update video, all the females will be moved over to the community tank with the parent honey gourami, and if there are any males, I may keep one with my guppies or in a separate tank, and the others will most likely go back to the fish store. Even though the gourami could have been moved to the community tank at any time after the last update, I kind of wanted to wait it out a little bit longer. While I did want them to get just a little bit larger before moving them, I also wasn't in any kind of a rush, since the local fish store still didn't have any of the actual fish that will call this setup their forever home. During this time I was waiting, I decided I also wanted to try to test a couple more shrimps to see if the water was suitable. I keep multiple tanks with multiple colors of neocaridina shrimps, so a couple of wild color shrimps were taken from the blue and red shrimp tanks for the experiment. I did try this once before when the tank was still fairly fresh, but that experiment didn't work out, and after losing a couple shrimp, the remainder were rehomed. I slowly drip acclimated and temperature matched the shrimps before introducing them. For the first little bit, the shrimps explored around, but quickly settled down into the plants. I didn't want to add too many shrimps, since there was a chance they would be lost anyway, but I did want to make sure to add both males and females, just in case the experiment was a success this time. Unfortunately, it looked like the shrimp experiment was going to end up the same as the last time though. After a couple days, I found one of the shrimps that didn't make it, and then haven't seen any other shrimps since. It was around this time I was doing some water changes on other tanks and thinning out some of the plants to bring to the local fish store. While picking up a couple neon tetras for an aquarium that I haven't shown yet, I was informed that there were also a bunch of sparkling gourami in the last shipment. There were other nanofish that I had considered for the setup, such as Chilirasbora, but I had settled on sparkling gourami, mostly based on local availability. Since the sparkling gourami were finally in stock, I thought, now is as good a time as any to move the honey gourami into the larger tank. I took my neon tetras home and got them acclimated, while also acclimating the honey gourami into the community tank. This wasn't that hard, however, since both tanks just had a water change and parameters were nearly identical. Catching them all was the hardest and most stressful part. I decided to add all the smaller gourami into the community, even if there were males. Honey gourami aren't as aggressive as other species, and if there are any issues, I still have another tank with just shrimps that can be used as a backup to rehome anyone getting picked on. I know a little bit of chasing is going to happen, especially with Custard trying to guard his nest, but that is expected and I will monitor closely. Surprisingly, he was even nibbling my hand when I was trying to move the plants. Then back to the fish store I went, and came back with 3 little sparkling gourami. Ideally, I was looking for 2 females and a single male, but most of them were just too little to tell the difference in the store. So I decided to grab 3 of the smallest ones regardless of gender. They are even smaller than the baby honey gourami I just moved. I took my time acclimating the small gourami to the new water before introducing them into their new home. They were drip acclimated until the water level was mixed evenly with the old and new. When I added them into the tank, they slowly made their way down and into the corner, and then into the thick forest of plants, not to be seen until the next day. The next day, they looked great though. No more stressed out little fishies. Instead, they were exploring between all the plants and under every leaf. Then I found a shrimp. After not seeing them for so long, I honestly thought there were none left. But here one is. I don't know if there are still any others, but they very well could be hiding in the back behind the driftwood. As you could see, the little gourami are barely even the size of a shrimp yet. Even though the gourami are still really young, they are already showing some of their sparkly colors. They have a shiny semi-translucent body covered in speckles and blue sparkles, with red accents on their fins. Their eyes are also the same iridescent blue with a bit of a red ring. Right now, they are still fairly camera shy, but do seem comfortable in their new home. I'm sure in time their colors are going to look even better too. But this is where I'm going to end this update video. The next video will show off these little fishies even more. This was probably the biggest update yet, but it's still not finished. I think I would like to add a couple pygmy corridors as well, but I suck at making decisions. Let me know down in the comments what you think of pygmy quarries with pygmy gourami. Or should I keep it a species tank with only the gourami? The next video will have even more clips of the sparkling gourami, so if you'd like to see that, why not subscribe? And don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you don't miss my sporadic uploads. Until next time, thanks for watching.